Amazon announced 2 new series coming out one's based on a video game, one's based on a comic book. We'll talk about both here. The first is Tomb Raider. Now, we've known that Tomb Raider is in the works from Phoebe Waller-Bridge, and this is the first time it's been announced that it's actually been made, ordered, greenlit, it's going ahead. We don't know any of the actors, we don't know exactly what it's going to be about. We only know that it's being written and led by Phoebe Waller-Bridge. Now, for some people, this is a disaster because they dislike her for whatever reason, and I think a big reason is that a lot of people didn't like Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I did not see Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. I'm trying to bring myself to actually watch this movie, and it's hard. It's hard because I love Indiana Jones. Well, I love the first 3 movies. The 4th one, not so much, and then the 5th one just looked so, all the de-aging and the CGI, I haven't been able to bring myself to do it. Even though it's on streaming and I could watch it at home, I think I've almost blocked it out of my mind, like it doesn't exist to me. Other people have talked about how they dislike her politics. I'm not really familiar with her politics that much. What I am familiar with Phoebe Waller-Bridge, mostly, since I haven't seen Indiana Jones, and since, yes, she did have a part as a droid in Star Wars Solo, a Star Wars story, which I actually thought was a fine movie in a lot of ways. It was fine. It exceeded my expectations. Certainly wasn't as bad as some of the prequel and sequel Star Wars movies. But her main things that I'm familiar with are Fleabag, which she wrote and which she based on a one-person play, one-woman play that she wrote. 2 seasons of that show, and they are fantastic, especially season 2. It's just so creative. It's funny, it's different, it's unique, it's well written, it's some brilliant acting. It's got some really, lots of fourth wall breaking and some really interesting twists and plays on the fourth wall. And I absolutely loved Fleabag. So that immediately made me a fan of Phoebe Waller-Bridge. And then she was also the writer and show ran the first season of Killing Eve, which is a pretty good show. It's a good spy show. It's really weird. It's different. The first season was great. I felt like the second season really wasn't as good, and she was not involved with that. So that was another sort of, to me, a little more evidence that she is a pretty talented writer and can spin together a pretty entertaining story. Now, the question is, will she do a good job with Tomb Raider? And who knows? That's been a difficult IP in general. The old Tomb Raider games are classics and people love them, and they've been, Lara Croft has been adapted and changed over the years to, in the video games and ultimately, in film. And I'm optimistic. I don't know. I feel like they could do a really good job. It's the right kind of video game to adapt to a very Indiana Jones-like story. It's fun. It's exciting. I guess it just depends on the approach. She's talked in interviews about how she loves Lara Croft in the Tomb Raider games. She's talked about how she wants to have that 90s vibe. So I think it could be great. I think Lara Croft is an interesting character and a difficult one to adapt, especially these days, because there are so many terrible girl boss female characters that have been written, and people are understandably fairly sensitive. They want great female characters. I think a lot of people want great female characters, but are constantly sort of given this idea that the only way a good female character, a strong woman character, can be strong is if she makes the men around her look bad. And I think it's a terrible way to write any kind of character. If the only way you could make a male character seem strong was to make him be an asshole to women, that would rightly be criticized. So, we had the Angelina Jolie movies, and then the more recent movie that had, what's her face? I'm drawing a blank, sorry. A little fried right now from a lot of exercise. So that's the first one, and I'm just, with very little information, I'm just going to hold out hope based on Waller-Bridge's works that I've enjoyed, that she will write true to Lara Croft, true to Tomb Raider, decent, exciting, fun, adventure story. The second and much more surprising announcement from Amazon is that a Spider-Man Noir series with Nicolas Cage starring. I just did not expect, after the Into the Spider-Verse and those great movies. I love the Spider-Verse movies, but I didn't expect a live-action spin-off starring Nick Cage. That is surprising and also great. I think it's so it takes place in like I think the 1930s, back in the film Noir days, in the 30s New York, and deals with this, middle-aged private investigator who used to be the only, New York's only superhero, this Spider-Man. And I wonder what it's going to be like, because of course in the Spider-Verse movies, he's in black and white. I wonder, will they make this show in black and white? I would love that. That would be so amazing if they made like a true film noir, private dick, like Nick Cage Spider-Man detective show. That sounds really cool to me. Will they make it that way? I just think it's so unpopular to have things in black and white. So I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe they'll do it part black and white, part in color. I don't know. But that's exciting. Nick Cage, he's a weirdo. I like a lot of what he does. He's certainly done a lot of very odd stuff, and some of it works and some of it doesn't, but he just tries everything. He just throws everything at the wall and sees what sticks. And I respect that. You have to respect that kind of actor. I remember years ago, we were watching Amos and Andy, with him and Samuel L. Jackson. And we were watching it with my mom's aunt and uncle. They were pretty old at the time. And as we watched, at one point, Nick Cage was on screen, and my mom's aunt said, "Well, I'll tell you what, he's not going far." And look at him now. So, all right, we've got Tomb Raider, we've got Spider-Man Noir, both coming to Amazon. Well, one coming to MGM, which is owned by Amazon, which they should really just fold into Amazon Prime. It's so silly to have them separate. Then everyone could watch from. But both of these sound fun. I'm, after Fallout, which I liked, I know a lot of people didn't, but I really liked it. I have faith that maybe Amazon, at least, is learning some important lessons about how to make a show that's appealing to both core fans and the casuals and the newcomers. Because Fallout, I know a lot of people who love the Fallout games, who really love the show, and a lot of, including the creator of the Fallout games, Tim Kaine, who loved the show. And a lot of people who didn't, but then a lot of people who've never played them. Like my daughter, never played Fallout games, but she, right off the bat, was just absolutely loving Fallout from the get-go of that show. She just couldn't stop watching it. So I think it's brought in a lot of people, and I think if they can do the same thing with Tomb Raider, that would be fantastic. And it's, it's a story that writes itself. It's just an Indiana Jones. It's an Indiana Jones show with a hot chick instead of Indiana Jones. Maybe I'll watch Dial of Destiny someday. I don't know. Should I put myself through that, or should I just watch the first three again? They're great and perfect just the way they are. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let me know what you think about these upcoming projects in the comments, and peace.